Title: I pulled out the hidden recorder and listened as my cheating wife boasted to her lover. Start: the night was silent, except for the faint hum of the recorder in my palm. I pressed play, and her voice spilled out like venom. My husband? He's spineless. He cooks, cleans, pays the bills. All his salary goes straight into our joint account. Meanwhile, I hide my income. If we ever divorce, he'll walk away with nothing. Her laughter mingled with another man's. My chest tightened, but I didn't flinch. Not anymore. That recording was the knife in my back, and the blade I would twist in return. I married her believing I had found my anchor. We built routines, shared mornings, whispered dreams in the dark. I gave her trust in its purest form, blind and unguarded. She called me her safe place, her loyal husband, and I was, for years. But loyalty in the wrong hands turns into a leash. She grew colder, sharper with her words. I ignored the red flags, convinced myself marriage meant weathering storms. I didn't realize she was the storm itself. Her betrayal wasn't loud. It was in the late-night texts she thought I didn't see, the sudden overtime shifts that left her smelling of cologne, not mine. But suspicion is only smoke. I needed fire. So I hid a recorder beneath the couch, where she often lounged with her phone. Days passed. Then, one night, I retrieved it. That was the moment I heard her mocking me to her lover, boasting about her secret stash, confident in my ignorance. Her arrogance sealed her fate. Pain has a strange alchemy. It burned through me, then hardened into steel. I didn't rage. I didn't confront her. I smiled, cooked dinner, asked about her day. But behind that mask, I began to build a weapon, brick by calculated brick. First, the finances. She believed she controlled our joint account. She didn't notice when I redirected my pay into a new account under my name alone. Quiet transfers, small amounts, invisible at a glance. Next, the evidence. I copied the recording files, timestamped them, and stored backups online and off. I hired a private investigator. Within weeks, I had photos, her hand in his, lips on his, checking into hotels. Then the lawyer. Divorce wasn't a battle I intended to fight unarmed. I showed her everything, the recordings, the photos, the money trail. Her income concealed from me, but not from the law. My lawyer smiled like a wolf. We'll bury her. Step 1. Drain her confidence. I let her believe I was oblivious. She bragged louder, stayed out longer. She dug her own grave, and I handed her the shovel. Step 2. File the papers. Served to her at work, in front of her colleagues. Shock frozen on her face as the envelope hit her desk. Inside, she found not just divorce papers, but every piece of evidence. Her secret income, her infidelity, her fraud. Step 3. Remove the ground beneath her feet. I had already moved the money, closed the joint account, froze the credit cards, changed locks on the house I alone had bought. By the time she drove home that night, her key no longer fit. The confrontation came when she stormed into my lawyer's office, face twisted in fury. "You can't do this to me," she spat. I looked at her, calm, steady. "I didn't do this, you did." She reached for sympathy, tears trembling at the edges of her eyes. But crocodile tears don't drown a man who has already walked through fire. My lawyer slid the folder toward her. "Your lover will make a fine witness." Her mask cracked. Silence hung heavy, broken only by her stammering denial. But it was too late. The evidence was a blade pressed against her throat, and she knew it. In court, she tried to paint me as controlling, as weak. The judge listened, then listened to the recordings. Her own voice betrayed her. Spineless, that was the word she had used for me. But the judge's ruling told another story. I walked away with the house, the savings, a share of her hidden income as part of the settlement. She walked away with debt, disgrace, and the lover who suddenly seemed less eager to shoulder her burdens. I stood in the quiet of my reclaimed home, looking at the empty space where her things once cluttered the shelves. Did it hurt? Of course. Betrayal always leaves scars. But scars are reminders that I survived. I had been her puppet, her fool, but not anymore. She wanted a spineless husband. Instead, she got a man who cut the strings. I pressed play on the recorder one last time, hearing her laughter echo in the room. Then I deleted it, smiling, because I didn't need the recording anymore. The world had already heard her confess, and she had already lost everything.